One.
All right, I'm here with Connor Dotson, one of the Marcus greats. He still has the strikeout record here with all the great pitchers that we've had come through this program, and we're here going to interview Connor about basically his youth and his development as a player. And first, Connor, why don't you tell us kind of your journey and what you're doing now?
I started playing baseball when I was 6 years old, and that was probably where it started. I played basketball, I played football, I was into golf, I ran cross country, and I think it's good to be a part of different sports to figure out what's for you, what fits your personality the best. And I played baseball from 6 to when I was 12 years old, and that was probably the most fun time for me because it wasn't so much geared around traveling and winning tournaments and winning those tournaments and being able to go on to a bigger tournament. It was, I got to play with friends that I went to school with, friends of friends that later became my friends, who I'm still friends with today. Once you start getting into travel ball, you've got kids from out of town, kids that you don't know very well, and the only time you get to see them is when you practice or when you have a game, so you don't get to build that lifelong relationship. And I couldn't tell you probably half the people that I played with once I got into travel ball. And basically youth sports was probably one of the best times of my life because it was all about having fun and getting to know kids and building relationships with coaches, and yeah.
Awesome. What are you doing now? Where are you at?
I'm a redshirt junior at West Virginia University.
Talk about that journey from high school. You got the scholarship.
Yeah, so they recruited me. The first time they came and saw me was my junior year. They came and saw me here. We were playing Hebron, and I didn't have a great game. I knew they were coming. They had told me they were coming. I didn't have a great game, and I thought, oh man, that's probably the last time I'll hear from these guys. I probably wouldn't have to worry about it. The coach called me after the game. He's like, I know you didn't have your best stuff, but we really liked your makeup. We really liked your attitude. And we really liked how you interacted with your teammates when you had an off game. You were still fun in the dugout. You were still a joy to be around. So I got there 4 years ago, and I came in with an injury, so I was kind of behind the 8 ball to start off with. And then once the season started, I was fully healthy, and I kind of split time back and forth between being a bullpen guy and a starter. I made my first start at the University of Texas, which was a dream come true to me. Being a Texas kid, that's who I idolized growing up. And that was always my dream to go there, and getting to make my first start there was just surreal, and I can't put it into words. Sophomore year was kind of the same scenario. I started in the bullpen, and things were kind of shaky at the start for me. I was battling with some injuries again, and I was fighting back and forth with whether I wanted to be a starter, whether I liked the bullpen more, and it just kind of took a toll on my performance. I ended up started the rest of the year, started halfway through the year and ended up starting the rest of the year. And then last year was probably the most healthy I had been, the most ready I had been going into a season. I took the whole summer and dedicated myself to getting bigger and stronger. And 6 games into the season, I was warming up in the bullpen before I started Oklahoma State, and I snapped my humerus on the 4th pitch, I believe it was, and they medevaced me to the hospital. Got into the hospital, they gave me morphine, and I couldn't feel anything. My whole body went numb. I felt sick. I was nauseous. I couldn't move. They gave me an X-ray, and my arm was just split in two. I flew back with the team that night, which was awful. I had surgery 3 days later. When they went to operate, they found out that I had a tumor, a benign tumor, where my bone had broke, which caused it to break. So they went in, dug that out. I now have 6 plates, or 1 plate and 6 screws in my right arm. And I've spent the last 9 months rehabbing, building my arm back up, and proud to say that yesterday was my first time throwing a max effort bullpen. So everything's on the up and up right now.
Awesome. Yeah, and so Connor, that's an awesome story. I mean, obviously you've had some awesome, childhood dreams, and then you had definitely some tribulations last year, and you're now working through that. And obviously there's some things let's go back to the youth side. When you were growing up, I mean, going back, and you kind of talked about it earlier. You talked about like how it was fun. It was really fun for you. And let's kind of talk about in your whole youth development, not just in baseball but basketball. What was some, like, if you can go back right now, what was some key elements? Was it the development process? Was it just the winning? Was it the having fun? Was it the practice time? Was it the coaches? What was kind of what was one thing that stood out to you that you would go back right now if you were a kid? What would you definitely wish that you could go back and do?
I'd say that that's a tough one. I'd say the most important thing is building a relationship with your coach. They're there to help you, and they're there to make you not only a better baseball player, but a better person and help you become a better man later on down the road. And I can say now that from, I think, every coach that I've had from 6 to now, I'm now friends with on Facebook. I communicate with them. Like seldomly, I see them on the off chance when I get a chance to come home, and I meet up with them, and we just talk about all the fun times that we had, and we basically just reminisce on how much more fun it was then than it is now. It wasn't so much a job, and it was all performance based. It was just you were there to have fun.
Yeah, Connor was definitely a really good athlete, and for us, and could have probably played multiple sports here. As a senior, he chose to play baseball because he had a live arm, and obviously he's one of the best pitchers not only in the state but country as well. And, the one thing that he definitely you're hearing is it's about the relationships, it's about the development, and to who he is today as a person, as a thing, and as a youth coach, and as these volunteers that are volunteering their time, they become a crucial asset to your development of going to West Virginia and even hurting your arm, and how they've been a huge asset to you in this recovery process. I know. And again, thanks for your time, Connor, and we look forward to seeing your success this year and from here on out. And we know we have a big journey for you and big dreams for you. So again, thanks, Connor.
So thank you.